Hey, Rodney Stokes here, and look, I'm going to show you exactly how to prevent the 5 major mistakes that most people make when they're trying to convert traffic on their capture page. And so let me just pull up the notepad. And so I'm just going to go over it real quick. So here are the 5 major problems, right? So either they have a bad headline, they share too much information on the capture page, they're not monetizing exit traffic, they have unnecessary fields. So I'll explain that in a second. Unnecessary fields, and is not mobile optimized. So those are the 5 major mistakes that I see day in and day out with a lot of clients of mine that I'm sending traffic to, and just marketers in general in this space every week. So let me just go over them one by one, and I'm going to go over the solution to each one. And so I'm just going to show you a prime example. This is a capture page that I actually created for a client like 2 months ago. They're promoting, what's that program with Tammy? The Fearless Mama program, right? And so it's a $250 program. So $250 deposited into your bank account like clockwork. And so here's the thing. Most of the time, I see people, like I said, they have bad headlines because they're saying, hey, get started, opt in below. They're not telling you why. They're not giving you any benefits. It's not compelling, right? So here's the concept behind headlines. And so when you have a capture page, let me get started from the email that sent them to the capture page. So when you send the email to someone on your list, your whole objective, the subject line, the whole objective of the subject line is to sell them, give them enough information to open. So you're selling them on opening the email. Once they open the email, your whole objective of the email copy is to sell them on why they should click the link. Once they click, they're taken to the capture page. The whole objective of your headline and any type of text on the capture page is to just tell them just enough to opt in. So you're always selling them on the very next step. And so you just got to keep that in mind. Do not overdo it. Don't tell them too much information. Tell them just enough to sell them on moving to the next step. And so here's the thing that I use over and over again, and I use different variations of it. So it's called the how to without formula. How to do XYZ without ZYX, right? So if you see right here, this is a variation of it. See how to bank $250 commissions within the next 72 hours. And here's the without, with no experience required. And so if you just remember that formula, how to without, you can create headlines, different variations of headlines within seconds. All you got to do is think of the main benefit and what comes to mind when people, join these opportunities as far as objections. So if a person's reading that how to bank $250 commissions, they might say, oh, what's the catch? I'll probably have to, have experience. I'll probably have to XYZ. So you just address that main objection and tell them what they don't need to have. And then that's enough information. And from there, you just tell them to opt in, right? So the how to without formula, that's how you fix any type of headline debates that you might be having. All right. So like I said, too much information. So when you tell someone basically the whole rundown of what's on the next page, what reason do they have to opt in? So this is a mistake that I see a lot of people make, especially a lot of new people online. So they'll have a video or, they'll have some type of breakdown in the text where they show all of the major benefits. They show the name of the company, which is a big no-no. You don't want to do that, because what's going to happen is a person say, well, I could spare myself the act of putting in my email, and I'll just go Google the name of this company, or I'll go YouTube the name of this company and do my own research. So a person's just going to leave because you already told them what they needed to know, right? So you have to have some type of mystery on your capture page. So don't tell them too much information. Don't have a video that breaks everything down. Tell them the how to without, and then tell them to move forward to get that information. That's how you combat that, okay? So not monetizing exit traffic. This is a big no-no, and this is a mistake that a lot of people make. So it's 2 ways that you can monetize it. And you see right here, you can add an exit pop. And majority of you guys have seen the exit pop. You know exactly what it is. You might not have heard it being called an exit pop, but it's one of those things where you try to leave. Let me just show you an example. When you try to exit the page and a box pops up that says, hey, wait, don't leave just yet. I have something special to show you. So let me see if it happens. It didn't happen. Let me let the page stay for a couple of seconds longer. And so the whole idea of that is, not everyone is going to opt into your capture page. So you might send 100 people to your capture page. And if you have a pretty good capture page, you might generate, 40 leads, right, out of that 100 visitors. Now, what about the other 60? Wouldn't you like to monetize and, carve out some money or some traffic and point them to a different offer rather than just have those 60 people leave and never, come back again? It basically just wasted money, right? So here we go. So on Chrome, it doesn't show the message, but any other browser, it'll say, hey, wait, I have a special offer to show you worth X amount of money. Click to stay on the page and check it out. And so, like I said, Chrome, it doesn't show that with this WordPress script that I use. But this is what you want to have. So when a person clicks to cancel, they're then redirected to a down sale. So I'm offering the software $1 test trial. And then when they click to cancel, I say, hey, for that, you can still get started for $1, but instead of $54 you'll be charged at the end of your 7-day trial, you can get the same version of the software for $27. So I cut it in half. It's a down sale. And so, like I said, a person might be saying, well, why cut it in half? Well, you wouldn't have made any money off of that person leaving anyway. Once that person left without the extra pop, they're gone forever. So you might as well try to scrape, the little bit of returns that you can get from that traffic. Otherwise, it's wasted. So as you can see, it's going to redirect me. Okay, so there you go. Stop. Don't make the biggest mistake of your life, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's an exit pop. Now let me show you a hover pop. Okay. So I'm just showing you inside of ClickFunnels. So I'm just going to make something real quick, nothing special. Headline. Don't leave without, can't type today, seeing this. And let me see if I can add a button. Don't leave without seeing this. Okay, so let me do the settings. So it triggers. Okay, so show when a user tries to exit. All right, so if I click save, now go here. So a person lands, they read the text. Maybe, they're not interested, whatever the reason is. They go up to exit and this pops up. So I can have like a freebie, or I can say, hey, get this, free thing. Go check this other thing out. It doesn't matter. The whole idea is that you're monetizing traffic that would have otherwise been gone forever. Okay, so that is definitely something that you want to implement. So the last thing. Okay, so the thing before the last thing, unnecessary fields. So let me show you an example. I had a guy just message me 10 minutes ago, right? And so he asked me if this would do well with my list. So the first thing I'm going to ask him when I message him back is, do you need all of these fields? So the first name, the email, phone number, do you absolutely need all of that information, or will you just be fine with collecting email addresses? And I ask this to all my clients that have these type of forms. The reason is, whenever you ask for more than just the email address, your conversion rates will suffer. So if this page looks good, design wise, it looks real nice and clean. If he just had this, I guarantee it would do well. Now, it probably still will do well, but the fact that he's asking for the name and the phone number, me as a, just a regular person, if I land on the page and I see that, I'm saying, okay, well, name, all right, I'll put my name. Best email, okay. Phone number, that's asking for too much. You know what I mean? A person is very protective over their information. So it's one thing to put the email, another thing for phone number. First thing that pops in my mind is who's going to be calling me. I don't want to, anybody basically spamming me over the phone type of thing, right? Telemarketing type of situation. So unless you absolutely need that phone number, I will leave that out, because here's the thing. I've sent millions of emails since 2011 when I got started. I've never seen an increase in open rates, any of that stuff, when I use the person's first name. I've never seen any type of, benefits that comes from collecting more than an email. But on the contrary, even though your conversion rate will be lowered a little bit by collecting a phone number, your closing rate will be higher. So if you do plan on hopping on the phone, calling your leads, and closing them over the phone, your closing rate will be much higher than if you just collected the email address and was just sitting back allowing your autoresponder messages to influence these people and convince them. So, it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's a toss-up. It's a 50-50 thing. If you plan on calling these people, then it's all well and good. If you don't, and you just have this on your form just for no reason at all, because maybe the form came like that, remove this immediately, right? Because you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're going to suffer on the conversion side, and you're not even going to get the benefits as if you were calling that person to close them, right? You get what I'm saying? So it just makes no sense all the way around. So here's the very last thing. So not mobile optimized. So here's a quick thing. Here's a quick test that you can do, right? It's a way that you can see how your page looks on mobile devices without actually pulling it up on your phone. You just simply grab the corner of your browser, scoot it all the way over to make it as skinny as it lets you make it. And now that's how it looks on the mobile device. So you can see this is very well mobile optimized. That page looks really good. Let me do it with this one. Okay, so it's a little bit of editing that I can do to clean this up and make it look a little better. But overall, it's mobile optimized. You'll see a lot of times when you do that on the page, the design of the page stretches out, and basically it doesn't shrink down the way it's supposed to. And so, in a nutshell, before you purchase any traffic, before you send a single visitor to a website, just understand that nowadays most people are visiting websites on their mobile phone. So whether it's a mobile cell phone or a tablet, you got to make sure that it looks good on those devices, because maybe like upwards of 80-85% of your visitors are going to be coming on a mobile device. So if you don't make it look good, they will run like crazy, because if anything looks off, it's setting off internal alarms with your website visitors. You want to make sure everything looks legitimate, professional, clean, as much as possible, right? So like I said, it's just a quick tip, but you can also make sure you check on your device. If you have a tablet, cell phone, or whatever, check. But just a quick way to look. So every capture page you have, just make sure it passed that test, and you should be good to go. So side notes, always make sure that you split test. Split test absolutely everything. So if you do say, well, I want to see how this works with collecting the names and collecting the phone numbers, that's all well and good. Run a test, run a 100 click test. Okay. So 100 visitors going to any website is going to give you a percentage. So out of 100 visitors coming, maybe you got 20 people that opted in. So that's a 20% conversion rate. Now remove those fields and run another 100 visitors to that new page. See what the conversion rate is. Maybe the conversion rate is 27. Okay, so it's like, all right, well, it's not a huge difference, but it is higher. So let me run a little bit more traffic, right? And then over time, you can kind of get the average between the two and say, okay, well, I got a clear winner. Maybe it's a drastic change. Maybe the second run is 40% opt-in. So guess what? Do away with that original page and make that new one the page that you run traffic to. So always split test, because it doesn't matter what I think, doesn't matter what you think. Let the market tell you. The website visitors are the people that's casting the vote, that tells you, hey, I like this and I don't like this. It doesn't matter what we think. Okay. And lastly, less is more. And so over the past 7-8 years, one thing that I've clearly seen, like I said, I've ran a lot of traffic. I've sent a lot of emails. I'm talking about in the millions. And the one thing that I've clearly seen is every single capture page that converted the highest were plain capture pages with like white background, gray backgrounds. This is fine. It's not overdoing it, but whenever you have a capture page that's like that has like the graphics and the shiny things and the arrows pointing and stuff like that, those always do the worst, because it comes off as trying too hard. You're trying to convince someone to do something. You know what I mean? It's like it's over the top, and it makes people run. So just make sure that plain grayish white backgrounds, clean designs like this, they always do the best, Make sure you stay far away from like colorful, pointy arrows jumping around. Don't ever do anything of that nature, because you will always suffer as far as your conversions. Okay, so hopefully you got some value from this video. If you have any questions at all, leave the comments below. If you're inside the Facebook group, and if you're watching this on Conversions Class website, be sure to join the Facebook group. Just go to Facebook, type in the search bar Conversions Class, request to join, and I'll approve you. All right, with that being said, I'll see you next week.